No, I got all three of my clerks are open. We shall call the order of the USC 49 Special School Board meeting to order. Approval of agenda.
Mr. President, I make the motion to approve the agenda as presented.
Thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Seeing no discussion, we shall vote. All those in favor vote yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, no.
Yeah. Oh, I'll go ahead and refresh. Maybe it's not.
It's not showing us.
Okay.
You're a yes.
I am a yes.
Passes 7-0. First item is 2.1, Hayes High School Handbook.
Yeah, Mr. Henderson is here to update the board on the changes that they've made to the handbook.
Good evening. Thanks for having us. So I kind of wanted to share something as we got started. So we sent you the handbook changes there. Kind of what we were talking about was operational definitions. And so for us, it made us think about a phrase that we use all the time. So if I could, I'm just going to share it. Calibrate the machine. Matter of fact, we took Calibrate the Machine on the road. We presented at the Kansas Principals Conference to 80 principals. And basically what we said is that all discipline is teamwork, and we've got to work together, and we got to understand where and how the experience is implemented and worked with for our families and stakeholders and students. So as I understand, to come back tonight, we just thought that we would try to add to that calibration, which is fine. We want to be as clear as we possibly can be. Behavior is communication. So inside of this framework, really we're talking about page 40 and 41. That is where we have spent a lot of time trying to already put that calibration into practice, but those are the places that we added what we felt like were a couple of spots that we could add a little bit more clarity, possibly inside of that calibration. So I'll make sure that you're at 40 and 41, because really what we're talking about is the high school discipline framework. So inside that discipline framework, what we've done here on the continuum and the progression of behavior is we just tried to add a couple more words. So you'll see the easiest to talk through is conflict, okay? So you see conflict there. Well, first of all, I should clarify, you see integrity, conflict, technology, personal safety, rights, safety, and property. All of those exist because when we meet with a stakeholder, a student, a parent, family, we can use those to engage that conversation and talk about their experience that we have in terms of how we're working with them. So you have everything from horseplay over here, and then violation of civility policy minor, and then across that progression of conflict all the way over to assault, battery, legal definition, SRO, law enforcement officer, you see that we added some functional language. And again, for us, in a world where we go on the road and tell other principals what we do, I'm happy to say that if we've been asked for more clarification, we're game. Because if I can be clear to our students and stakeholders, that's good. So what you see there is just that. We tried to add and calibrate some language across our discipline policy and framework so that you have it in front of us, front of you. So really, that's what we were trying to do. We can certainly answer any questions, but that's kind of what we were thinking here in our Calibrate the Machine. By the way, Calibrate the Machine, first slide of our presentation, not here, but in Wichita, to the other principals, is fine-tuned for optimal accuracy, performance, ensuring it works as intended. And the one thing I can tell you about our jobs working with other people's children is that we want to make sure we're calibrating the right way. So that's what we've done tonight, and so I can answer any questions and try to work through this handbook for you.
So, putting together what I know. First of all, this is great. This is all that I wanted. Just operational definitions, just to help guide and keep everyone on the same track. You are a man that often talks about how you like to lead from the middle, and your staff and they're the ones who lead the progress of the school, and you're there to guide and to help them. And as an administration, you guys all want to be on the same page. I think this helps do that. I would like to just make it known that like this conversation is going to come up again next year, and I would really encourage you this year to lead from the middle and create a little committee of teachers from the BLT, MTSS, veteran teachers, department chairs, new teachers, so that you guys can come up with a handbook that works for everyone. Because if you are a well-calibrated machine, and I'm sure you do know this, but before a teacher sends a student to the office, they have already tried creating a relationship with them, cut them some slack, talked about what's going on in their day, given them a break, having to send them on a walk to cool down, done all of these things. So when a teacher is sending a student to you, all of those boxes should already be checked. And your job is to, that was the wrong word. And your part of this is to take it to the next level. So I don't see administrators as the person who's supposed to create a friendship with the students, more of a professional relationship of, hey, we can be friendly and I really think you're a great kid, but this is what you did and this is the consequence. So I think this is great for this year. It's a great first step, and I look forward to what committee says for next year.
And I would just add, so reviewing these changes, I mean, I get it, Sean, too, but every scenario is going to be different. So probably even what you have created here hasn't even been seen yet or brought up. So you're going to have another scenario next year or 2 weeks after school starts. So I appreciate your staff looking into it again. I didn't have a problem with the handbook the first time. But again, every environment, every situation is going to be a different situation. So kudos to you and your staff. And if teachers feel like they can't come to you, I hope that they do. I hope that they come to us. So I keep hearing this again of reputation of there's not communication with them or they feel they can't come forward. I still have yet to see that. I still, as a board member, have yet to see that. So until I do, I'm on administration's side. So there I go.
Yeah, we appreciate it. And again, we want the communication and we want the calibration. And I would echo that, I think, across all of our buildings. We feel like there's a lot of detail here in this handbook and are always open for conversation. But again, I can't speak to every single scenario, certainly. So, but that's why we have the framework, I think, so that we can work through it consistently.
So Sean, I think gone above and beyond. So Mr. President, I'm going to make the motion to approve the Hayes High School Building Handbook as presented.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Anybody have any other comments or discussions for
Yes,
Mr. Henderson or Becky?
Discussion.
Yes, Mr. Park.
One of my concerns was the new procedures that we have for the bathrooms.
Okay?
And have you checked with other schools that have this scenario? And is it embedded in this handbook so students know what they should, what they can and can't do? Because it's completely different from what they've been used to since kindergarten through middle school.
Yeah, I mean, really, I think the thing is you tell me something that can happen inside of a bathroom, and what we do in that calibration is put it somewhere on this framework. So it's there. The most glaring one that we've now been working on, that was another thing I wanted to say too. This discipline framework has been here. This now starts year 5. So we're not starting something new. This is, in terms of calibration, it's been here for 4 years now going into year 5. The other thing that I would say is, knowing that we had the individual restrooms coming, we added more than one person in a single stall. And honestly, that's true concern in all schools everywhere, individual stalls that we have or the larger restrooms, which we also have. I mean, so yeah, I mean, yeah, it's something that we address on the regular.
Okay, so one of the changes is that you're adding now men's and women's on the restrooms, is that correct?
Yep.
On each individual stall, so you have like 3 and 3 or whatever?
Yeah, it balances.
Okay, and so my question was, did you consult with other schools that have this scenario at all?
Yeah.
To see what they did? Which school did you talk to?
Oh, I mean, just in general, I just came from a principal conference with 5,000 principals, and we all talk about the things that are facing us. So absolutely, several of them.
Do you have some schools that you're aware of? I know Shawnee Mission was brought up, but theirs isn't quite like ours.
Well, there's quite a few schools that actually just have a couple of those. We have more than they do, but it's not
Right,
that.
they have like the family bathrooms that.
Correct, but it's
like
not that new and
Junction
different.
City, but we're kind of unique, because we're the only school that has all the bathrooms like that.
Not all of them, but a percentage that's probably higher than other schools. But for us, I mean, again, if we're at this, behavior that infringes on the rights and safety of other, 2 people in 1 stall, vandalism in some way, conflict in some way, we feel like all of it is already present here in front of us. Whether it's in a bathroom, it's in the hallway, it's in the front of the school. And quite frankly, the discipline frameworks follows all of our students everywhere they go when they're engaged in a school activity. So it's the bus, it's the event that they're at out of town. I mean, so again, trying to just have that consistency.
What about staff using those bathrooms?
They're welcome to.
They're welcome to. Okay, are you aware that Shawnee Mission eliminated that option?
I'm not aware of
Staff
that.
do not use those bathrooms because of some.
We have a lot of staff bathrooms. I can tell you when I take my teachers through, it's the thing they're really excited about.
They have
they're-
individual that are
Absolutely.
designated just.
In every area, yep, on every floor.
Okay,
Yeah.
just to clarify it for me, every wing has whatever the bathrooms that we have set up now on every wing up and down.
Yes?
There's no other additional bathrooms available to them up and down except for those unless they go somewhere else.
Every floor has a large group bathroom and every floor has individual bathrooms. Both are present all over the building.
Individual, okay, so when I was on the tour, maybe you can show me around next time.
Sure. No, it's no problem. I mean, I can walk, yeah. We even label them. Keep it super simple. On the west side of the school by the tennis courts, A. Below that, B, C for commons, large group. Those are individual. Then you have the area by the athletic area. Again, that's G and H. And then if you keep going, we have D and E. But all of those are on multiple levels, both group and individual.
And how are you going to supervise? Do you have,
Same way we do now. And actually, one thing that principals asked me in our presentation that we gave, we have our teachers help supervise those. And it was a change a couple of years ago, but we feel like it's important to take care of our people. So our teachers are doing it. They're monitoring restrooms. Actually, the individual restrooms make it easier. There's 2 10-foot openings, an open area to wash your hands, and to monitor all of those, all I have to do is this. I can stand here and monitor all of them. So again, we can account for that. And if the behavior is something that's not appropriate, we'll handle it with the framework.
okay, on crisis situations, you'll have to have somebody check every one of those individual bathrooms and
Yeah, we're going to have to work through all of our, we're meeting with, we'll have the city folks there, we'll have law enforcement, we have fire chief, local. I mean, we're working through all of our safety systems right now.
And is any of that listed in your handbook on the crisis concerning the bathrooms?
I guess fundamentally, I don't view the bathroom as that different in that we already have stalls. It's just the individual restroom is an entirely individual stall.
Individual room, a locked individual room.
Correct.
That everyone will have to be checked.
Yes, and we'll have to have a protocol for all the things that we face in the new building. I think the thing that we know moving into the new building is we've got to talk about calibration. We've got a lot of calibrating to do. We're already starting to build our agenda for the first couple weeks so that every staff member, every student understands what those are. And honestly, every school everywhere does that to start a school year. It's the right thing to do, and even legally, we need to do that. It's the drills that we run. And so we'll have a protocol for all of that.
Are
Yeah.
you scared, Alan, that they wouldn't hear the fire alarm, or what is your concern there? I'm not following.
Well, it's just another individual room because all rooms have enough staff to be able to check all those same rooms. It's going to be hard.
Yeah, they're really labeled really nicely too. I mean, it is bright red that there's a person in there or green that it's open. We have cameras in all of those areas. So restroom area A happens to be 7 restrooms. There are 2 cameras to monitor those 7 restrooms.
And I would just say, just for perspective, we're already checking every stall in a fire situation or an evacuation situation because you don't know if the kid's up on the feet. You got to go in and push the door. You got to make sure that no one's in there. We're already checking every stall. It's the reality. So this is actually simpler in the sense that you walk in one way, you see which ones are vacant, you press the doors, and you walk back out and you start your next room. You circulate through the halls. It's efficient.
I guess my thing would be, I'd hope, since you've been doing it since kindergarten, that you would know if there's a fire alarm or a drill or something that you evacuate. I mean, you're not 5.
We also have signs posted in any space where a student could possibly be alone. There's an emergency sign posted in what to do in any of the 5 major emergency types. So it'll be on the back of every door. It'll be in the hand washing part of the bathroom. It's everywhere.
We've spent a lot of time doing this recently, adding signs, ordering signs, talking to, because again, when people drop their children off, safe is what we need. So we will always work.
Is there anybody else?
I have a question.
Yes, please.
This is a 20-point system, right? So what happens, let's say a student has inappropriate drawings, right? That's 1 to 2 points. Let's say they do that 5 times, that gets them up to 10 points, 9
Well,
points.
so actually,
What
again,
happens?
so the continuum here is that if at the bottom you see it says multiple or repetitive, so we build that into it. And really, it's a conversation with the family. We added the integrity conflict technology, we added the subtypes a couple of years ago, because if I have to call a family and say, this is the 3rd time we've had this conversation, so then the consequence, the experience that we're talking about has to look different because whatever is happening is not working. And that does happen. As we are working with humans, but that's why we do it this way, because we send this home, we make the phone call, we put it in Power School, we have that conversation. So if it keeps happening, then that's a starting point for the kid when they come back down and say, hey, this is the 3rd time we've had the same conversation. When we reach out to home, and then ultimately, as you talk about points, nobody knows points but us, it's procedural. But then the next level is a memorandum of understanding, taking anything that's happened with teachers, anything that's happened with us in the office, combining them and having a sit-down meeting with family and student to say, here's where we are, here's what we've done, here's the experiences we've worked through, this is or is not working, and here's what we need to do next. It's all part of that experience.
What if it's different things? So what if we have like 2 points from integrity, 2 points from technology? Like what if it's not the same conversation?
Jamie, I'm sorry, but what does that have to do with the board? I'm sorry, but what does that have to do with our
It's
board?
policy.
All we do is make sure he's fulfilling what he's telling him to do. Our job is to him. He's who we answer. It is not our job. I do not want to be involved in every disciplinary action that any kid has at Hayes High School. I don't have that kind of time, and I bet you don't either. That's his job to disciplinary.
Hey,
not ours.
it's okay. You have a really good kid. Not every kid.
Will you-
It doesn't matter if we don't.
Well,
Then let me.
Jamie,
I'm
Jamie,
not
please
done with my question.
please continue.
So my next question is, if you guys are the only ones that can see the points, right? The next shift for education is to create like a support team for the students, which Hayes High has already done, to where they have the student-led conferences, they have a team of like an administrator, a counselor, and a teacher. Is there any point in time where the counselors would be the next person to see those
Yeah,
points?
we do it every day. Well, it's not so much to tell them the point, it's to talk about the experience they're having. I think the thing that makes this hard, and if you will, for just a moment, if I was to fall down right now and I show heart attack symptoms, no offense to everybody in this room, but Dr. Yarmer, I would like you to stand up and come over to me. In the moment that I'm on the ground, he, in all of his skills, ability, and training, is going to assess he's going to say, what experience does this person need? The ambulance is going to arrive. Keep me alive. Thank you. The ambulance is going to arrive. Everybody in this room and quickly on social media knows Mr. H hit the floor at a board meeting. Everybody knows. I'm going to go and I'm going to leave in my ambulance. Thank you, Dr. Yarmer, for keeping me alive. I'm going to go, and he's actually here. He's not there. So somebody else is going to work with me. And in that moment when they're working with me, everybody wants to know what happens. So somebody's going to walk up to him and say, can you tell me exactly what the care plan looked like for Sean Henderson at the hospital? If he was to do that, he would be violating HIPAA, highly against the law. I am bound by FERPA, and though people love to know the things that are happening in our school to the people that it's happening to, we will not share that information. But the experience is important, and his assessment is important, and what we do next is important. We just have to be very clear how we proceed forward. When me, the professional that runs this building, needs to insert our care teams, just like he would say, I need this test run, I need this test run, he would insert for my care experience the people that need to do it. We do that every day. But I can't share with you what that looks like for every kid now any more than Dr. Yarmer could for my care plan. That's the thing that's hard about what we do. And when we talk about someone's bad day, I want to say this. We start with privacy, dignity, and respect. And because we do that, and because we work with parents and kids on their worst days,
And educators.
and educators, thank you, we can't always say the things. And quite frankly, we don't. And people say, I don't think anything happened in the office. And you mentioned our kindness. It's not even, yes, I want to be kind, Sean the person, but Mr. Henderson the principal, it's about the experience that that kid has, and it has to start with privacy, dignity, and respect. And it doesn't matter if they've messed up or they're the kid that the mess up happened to. Everybody has to be dealt with, because this is really important. To Dr. Yarmer, I'm one more patient, but wow, I am somebody's kid, friend, dad. And I don't approach education any different, and I can't. And that's why I'm passionate about this, because the things that happen in the office are super private. But I promise you, Board of Education and anyone listening, that we function as a team. I will absolutely meet with our teachers, have no problem, because they're the frontline people, right? They're the ones that lift up and they calibrate, oh my goodness, the coaches that we have. It's not even just in the classroom. Game. I'm all game for that. Let's have those conversations. But I just want you to know that what makes discipline so hard is that somebody could say nothing happened to me. But the truth is, I could leave the hospital. He kept me alive, and I'm like, they didn't do anything for me. Sir, aren't you alive? Yes, but they didn't do anything for me. You know what I mean? They inserted their plan and their care. So I'm always game for this conversation, but I want to say from my point, not Sean, the Mr. Henderson principal, I can't always share all the things that are going on. But if, and let's say this, that someone has a concern with how we do it, I would ask that we follow our regular protocol. I often tell people, the most common complaint we get is, I don't want you to hold my kid accountable. I don't appreciate that you are. And if you don't, then I'm going to call your boss. And I always say, his name is Ron Wilson. He works at Rockwell. You may call him, because that's part of the structure. And I'm done picking on Dr. Yarmer. I won't say what happens if someone doesn't like something at the hospital, but there's a procedure for that. And so I promise that we're following it. And if we're not, then I would just ask that we follow our protocol. Insert superintendent. Superintendent says this thing has been said, because we want to do it right. I mean, we want to do it right.
Now, the reason that I'm asking these questions, specifically, Ruth, the reason that people are calling me is because they know me, is because they're comfortable with me. A lot of them were my educators, my teachers, my coworkers. They call Kurt because they know Kurt. They've worked with Kurt for a long time. They, in some way or another, are feeling frustrated, and there are a lot of things that we direct them through, and there are some things like policy that we can't. And why am I asking Mr. Henderson these questions? Because sometimes they need to hear it from him, not from me. Sometimes they need to know this is what he is saying. He is saying it in front of everyone here. This is what he's following. I'm asking the questions to make sure that everything is clear, not to attack. I already said that what he implemented was all that I was asking for. So it's not to attack. It is to support the teachers. It is to protect the teachers, and it's also to protect the administration.
But
So the
Jamie,
teachers
you're not
hold on.
just
No,
asking
I'm not done.
questions.
I'm not done. So the teachers understand that I am asking these questions, and that this is what he feels, and this is what they need to do. So it's not just, oh, Jamie said, or Kurt said. No, this is what Henderson said. This is what you need to do.
But Mr. Henderson is a non-elected employee of USD 489. And you've quoted more than once, this student, this time, every student, every time. And I think Board of
said that. You said
Correct,
that.
yes, but you've continued to quote me. So I just want to say this. This is no longer just about the high school principal here. If procedurally we evaluatively talk about the high school principal, insert any principal in this district, any leader, and any teacher, and their experience starts to be impacted because they're like, well, if a call comes to a board member, is it going to be talked about in open session? And it's a hard place to talk because, again, I am held by FERPA. I can't even say the things that need to be said. I would just ask that we just follow the protocol that we do have. Not that I'm afraid that there are comments coming. The one thing I'm aware of is that there will always be comments about the person that holds people accountable for a living. And I know that, so that's going to come. I just ask, and now it's not about me. This principle, this time, every principle, every time, is that anybody else that stands here, if they're going to be talked about in this way, I don't know if this is the right way, respectfully, okay? And so, and I'm not wanting to make it personal, and you're saying it's not an attack, and I appreciate that, but if we talk about the procedure of running the high school, it starts to be very specific and evaluative, which I don't think we want. So
So where
again,
does our policy stop?
What do you mean stop?
Well, as a school board, we are in charge of policy. Where does that stop? Is this policy?
Once you approve the policy, yeah, your
It's policy.
your
So
job
is our job to hold accountable or just approve a policy?
is to approve a policy.
So even if we don't agree with it, even if it could get us in trouble, we just approve it. So what's the point?
Bill, is there anything in that policy that would say that we would be responsible for anything as the school board? Well, like she said, we're responsible for what's ever in there. So if a kid attacks another kid and the policy says this is what it's supposed to do, this is what we abide by, how are we liable?
can I ask this? You've approved other handbooks, and I don't want to talk badly about the other handbooks with my peers. Again, this principle this time. But our high school handbook has so many more functional definitions than the others. So then the question that I would ask back is, what from those would we insert here? Because from my vantage point, we've already added a lot of calibration, trying to. And so that's where I would leave it is, policy is, please approve the handbook. Procedure is, let us do our job. If we don't, follow protocol for people that are not doing their job in USD 489. And I am not special in that way. I am held to the same standard all of our employees are by my boss, which is him, and then you all him. I mean, again, not trying to overspeak, but I want to make sure we're on the same page, and I want this calibration to happen, both for me and all the other principals too.
I would say the difference comes from, I cannot speak for everybody, I have not received emails or calls of concern from parents at other schools. Yet, I have received several from your school. That is the only reason, and we've talked about why, that is the only reason that I am concerned. You've added what I've asked. I said that I would vote yes. I asked that you create a committee for the next year. If you want to lead from the middle, if you want your teachers to be a part of how your school is going to function and what they are seeing in their classrooms and in the hallways and what they can provide, I think that would be a really good choice.
All right, can we move on? Are we good?
Let's call for a vote.
Okay, I would like to call for vote. I would also like to state that what I've been involved in and what I've seen, Jamie has done the protocol because it was first addressed with Mr. Wilson and went from there. Thank you very much for coming and speaking with us. Greatly appreciate it.
Sean, I appreciate you very
Okay.
much.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, all those in favor of adopting the Hayes High School Handbook, vote yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, vote no.
No.
It passes 6-1. Next up on the agenda is prime contract change order request, Hayes High. Is the first one to be discussed?
Well, they're together.
Okay.
Oh, good.
Do you want to let people know why I'm leaving so I don't
I'll let them know. Jamie Gitz has been removed because her husband is involved with one of the contractors.
There you go. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to have this special board meeting and review these change orders. So we have two of them, one for O'Laughlin Elementary and one for Hayes High School. The O'Laughlin one is first, and what we priced is a full replacement of all of the existing sanitary sewer in the entire school. So I know that this is hard to read, but the red and blue lines are all of the sanitary throughout the entire building. On the left and right side of the screen, you can see the 2 new additions that we're building. That new sanitary piping will split the building in half. Half of it will go out on the west side, half will go off on the east side through completely new plumbing all the way to the exterior. So it's not reusing any of the existing pipe that's in the building.
I have a question right off the bat. So we're going to replace all pipe?
All sanitary sewer pipe, yes.
Okay.
And is that all in tunnels? Is it something that you have to cut floors or both?
Yes, we'll have to cut floors. Due to the differing elevations in that building, we won't be putting it back in the exact same spot that it's currently in.
Okay.
So right now, it exits the building all in one place. This will be splitting it and putting 2 new services out of the building. There's portions in the hallways that are over 8 feet deep. You can't do a 1-for-1 replacement in 8 foot deep in the middle of that hallway. It's just not safe to do.
Okay.
So.
When was this determined that this was necessary?
So we were asked to look into it in the spring. We had several times we had.
When? What spring? I mean, what time?
Spring of this year, spring of 2025.
February, March, when?
March or April.
Okay.
Yep. So we started looking into it. We had a sewer line scope completed in several locations. There's only so much you can see in there. In some places, there was standing water that was in the pipe, and you couldn't get past in other areas. But basically, what we observed is that there's multiple locations where there's no more bottom to the pipe at all. There's other locations where it's kind of an oval shape, which is basically showing that it's eroding and at the top and bottom or on the sides. And after looking at it with DLR's mechanical engineer and with Glassman, it was determined that it needed to be replaced.
When was the building built? Do we know?
It's in the 60s.
Okay.
So all of the existing is cast iron ductile pipe.
Okay.
So.
Al, Mr. Park, can we just save all the questions till he's...
Sure.
Please, continue on.
So the price for that replacement is $987,650. That is not coming out of any contingency because there's not one built in that is that large. So that would be adding that full amount to this project. Do you have any other questions specific to O'Laughlin?
Well,
Okay, so are we done with the Laughlin?
Yep.
Okay. Mr. Park,
Okay, so we knew, and the whole community knew, that there were plumbing issues, because that was one of the things that we were told that why we needed a bond. So my question is, why are we just looking at it now, and it wasn't when we first looked at adding on to the building, we knew that was going to be a problem adding on. So I guess why is this a large mistake like this? We have to repair.
Well, I wouldn't call it a mistake. I mean, it is added
Isn't a
scope
change
to it,
order
but.
correcting something that wasn't done?
Well, I mean, it would have been a cost regardless. The cost isn't any different now than it would have been if it was added into the project before. But I can only go based off when we were asked to look into it, and that was in the spring. So we started looking at it as soon as we were asked.
So it wasn't looked into when you start designing the building, the new building?
We don't handle any of the design portion of it, so I can't really speak to that.
So it was DLR's mistake, or they didn't?
I don't know what
The
conversations were
engineers-
had early on in the design phase.
Don't we have engineers that look at everything and
Correct,
consult
but-
with DLR when they're putting this together?
Correct, but generally they would not scope existing sanitary sewer piping as part of their design review.
how would you even do something like that?
You can go through a clean out in hallways, or you would have to pop a toilet out or something like that to be able to get a scope in there.
okay. Any other questions, Mr. Park?
Not right now.
Okay. Ruth?
Yeah, so if it wouldn't be repaired, is there any KDHE regulations or anything like that for not repairing it?
It's not.
I don't know for sure. As of right now, it's not actually backing up into any areas. Rusty, Lindsay would probably have to speak to how much maintenance they've had to do, but I do know that they, multiple times a year, have to go through and clean out multiple areas.
Okay. Megan, do you have any questions for him? Okay. I have some. September 13th, 2021, this was the O'Laughlin report on the plumbing, which ranked 3 out of 5. And I pulled this up and I read restroom fixtures, supply and waste, piping, hot water generation, pumps, and fire sprinklers, and it ranked 3 out of 5. So I don't know if that's a good job of that. Can you tell me who produced this when we were doing these building evaluations?
DLR.
This is DLNR? Okay. Okay, then my next question is, the camera work or the plumbing happened on Good Friday, April the 18th. The discussions happened on April 21st. I counted, we've had 90 days since the discovery of. This really burns me. How come we are just hearing about it 90 days down the road?
So it took a while to investigate multiple options. We looked at if it was possible to sleeve the pipe, if we could replace the pipe one for one in its current location. That had a lot of safety concerns with it, as I mentioned previously, but we had our safety people look at it and see if there was a way to do that. There are already some existing trenches that have been cut in for other building additions. I believe the main one's on the north side. We looked at if we could go that direction. We looked at doing coating the inside of the existing pipe. So we looked at several options, and that took a while to do. Once we settled on this, then we had to wait for DLR's engineers to go through, draw up what needed to happen, size all of the different plumbing fixtures, look at the elevations to make sure that we could go one way or the other, and determine where that needed to exit the building at. We had to have provisions for the new pipe going through the 2 new additions. So there's large footings, obviously, that have been poured now, and getting sleeving in all of those locations, and then as well as pricing it took a couple of weeks.
But surely we could have had a heads up. Because, I mean, at that point in time, 90 days ago, we knew there was going to be an issue, and there was going to be a cost. Is that a fair statement to say?
Yeah, we're working on pricing.
Okay.
But
All right.
until they had thoroughness and accuracy.
Okay, my next question is, we've gone in, painted, done floorings as we've started the project. Okay, we're going to go in, I've read the things, we're going to cut, saw, remove concrete, and we're going to reproduce or relay all the new plastic pipe. How many rooms that we have already cleaned up, fixed, are going to be touched by putting in another floor or another wall? Because I assume this is going to have to happen
Next summer
because school's ready to start. So if we knew about this in April and we went into some of these rooms and lay down new floor and new all this, and we're going to tear it up after 1 year, is that it? Is that going to happen?
That's correct. There will be some rooms that will have to happen, yes. I don't know the exact number.
Okay, why didn't we just lay down carpet squares or something there and save our...
I mean, we certainly could. I mean, that's still the flooring is not laid in those areas, so it's still something that we could look at doing.
Okay. Money, this almost $1 million money's coming from capital outlay?
Now, we do have 1.9 million unallocated in our bond budget.
So it's going to come out of the bond budget underneath the title? Okay.
Well, it would just get allocated to this sewer project for a lot.
There's a line item that says that money's there?
It says unallocated.
Or is it the $300,000 we saved in some other? It's a different line that was already,
It
okay.
says it on the budget.
Okay.
Unallocated.
Okay.
And this is jumping ahead slightly, but this is the overall bond budget as far as what we're tracking. If you look in the bottom right-hand corner, it's at, inclusive of these change orders, it's at $163 million.
Okay.
And I believe the last update that Chris gave you, you have a little bit over $165 million.
It's going to shrink fast then. So, Dr. Yarmer?
Yeah, I guess a couple things. So the contingency money for O'Laughlin, it says it was in the GMP, but I couldn't find it. What was there actually some for O'Laughlin itself?
Yeah, I believe there's, 250,000, I believe.
I think it's already been, so we found this in April, just hearing about it now. But it looks like, at least from the Glassman quote, that it was supposed to be presented at the board meeting last week. What was the delay? I mean, that seems late enough, but what was the delay to get it to us now? Because they're just kind of contingent on that date.
Yeah, so if you look at the date that we received that, it was on the Thursday before. And then all of those subcontractor quotes that are in there, aside from Glassman's, had to be solicited after that was received. So we needed time to put all of that together and get all the other quotes to fill in the scope that's not being covered by Glassman. So the demo, the flooring, wall patchback, all of that.
Okay, do you mind if I interrupt real quick? So the 17th with Glassman's is still valid even though it's got that date on there?
Yeah, we have now protected that pricing until August 1st. So we have until the end of this month.
So we're good, so even though it's dated, we're good?
With that price until the end of this month.
Okay.
So I guess my other question is, this is a very large overage, especially in like, context of the whole project. I think that, well, not going into numbers, but why was this not bid out as a different project and treated as a change order? It seems like Glassman in their discussion thought that maybe this would go out as a bid project, and why not pursue that to try to get a better price?
Yeah. So generally with a situation like this, especially with it being in the existing school, it is extremely helpful and way more efficient to have a contractor already on board that can work with you and the engineer, rather than having all those discussions in a vacuum without a contractor's help and then sending that out. Especially whenever that contractor does all of the plumbing and mechanical work in that building and has an intimate knowledge of all the plumbing and fixtures in there. So that was the reason behind working with them to come up with this price. And I think that that got us there quicker, more efficiently, and probably at a lower cost design-wise, because they helped figure out what that design needed to be.
I guess, what did they come to you as far as putting the package together for the overage, for the change order?
When did they come to us for?
Yeah, like when did they say, hey, come to us with a number?
They spent probably 2 months getting everything figured out. And then when we got the pricing requests, we had it priced within 2 weeks.
So I'm sorry, like when did they say, give us a number for this?
Basically 2 weeks before I sent it out.
Okay, that would have been first of July.
And we also used our existing contract for this job. So we were able to get unit pricing for all the fixtures. So since we've already ordered all the fixtures for the additions, or A and B, we were able to lump sum that pricing and get a discounted pricing on everything that we priced up through this too. So we tried to save as much money as possible.
And I get what you said as far as it made sense, working with the people that are already on scene or on site. What makes more sense to me is we hire DLR to do the design. They have all the engineers and we have a known potential problem with sewer that is 60 years old. It's been said that Rusty has to go out and they have to clear it a couple times a year, so we know that's not functioning appropriately. This should not be a shock to anybody. The fact that it's a shock to you is kind of concerning, especially since we have other buildings out, being the current high school and the current middle school. What are we going to do to prevent this from happening again? Because it is a mistake. I mean, I think Alan was completely correct that you guys screwed up on this. You being the whole group, whether that's DLR, Navels, or whoever, this should have been known before we ever did anything as far as passing bond money for Laughlin. So that's where I have a problem with it being pushed through like that, the incompetence of not finding the problem that was known to be likely. And then we're in the situation with, $1 million. Yeah, it doesn't sit right with me.
And that was part of Napoli's contract, that as soon as whoever gets awarded the project, they have to go in and camera the system and scope it for the conditions. So that's why it was founded, because we executed the contract with Napoli's.
Interesting.
Camered it.
How much would you charge to camera a line? Just
We don't do it personally, we hire CN Sewer.
how much did CNC call or CN Sewer cost or charge you guys to camera the line?
I'd have to go through a previous quote.
If you were-
It's not that much.
So-
Usually, I just had the Mountain Tribune, and, that's 2.5 hours away, and they camera 200 feet of pipe. I think that quote was only $400, $600 or something like that, so it's not
So for 400, say it's $1,000, we could have had the lines, snake camera, know what we were dealing with years ago, and then be able to build the scope of the project, knowing that that was a fixed cost, that was something that had to be done. And to Mr. Byner's point, we've already done new work on there that's going to have to be torn up for this. That's incompetence. I mean, that is just the amount of money we're paying DLR to plan this all out so that it goes smoothly. They have their own engineers. While I think it's great that Glassman came out and tried to help with the process, they have their engineers that should have been like, this is what needs to be done. And I'm sure you're probably working with them some sort of guidance, but guys, this isn't difficult. This is.
Well, we can't scope on what ifs. What if we wouldn't have bought the building in 1990 for $250,000 from Hayes Catholic School?
There's a difference between what ifs and like being diligent.
No, not really. I mean,
Well,
what if we wouldn't have bought that, we would have built a brand new school back then?
I agree, it's 60 years old, but
My question is, if we don't fix this, tell me, who knows nothing about this, what happens?
Currently, you have basically the bottom of your pipe is broken out. So even though some areas are not, clogging up right now and not feeding into the system, you have contamination into the sand and soil underneath.
Okay, and
So
can that
that's going to
harm
keep-
our kids?
On the building.
I mean, it's,
Eventually.
like you said, it's 8 foot down.
it's a problem.
In reality, it's going to take a while for that contamination to get through up all the soil, but.
So if we don't fix it,
It's
in your-
one of those things of, do you want the conversation after this to be, you have active sewage leaking in your site?
Exactly. And so if we don't fix it, how long, 10 years, 15 years, will we be back relooking at this again for $2 million?
There's areas where we have to tie in, and that sewer line is currently crumbling in areas.
So this is because the addition doesn't have anything to attach to. Is that part of?
The
like,
two new additions have their own separate
We can
plumbing.
run, those can be run completely
Run separately.
separate, but.
But obviously it needs done. I don't
you
mean
have-
like,
You have sewage leaking into your
Yeah.
separator.
Okay.
And that's what takes the pipelining out of that process. Since it's broken out on the bottom of it, you can no longer line that pipe. It'll just blow out the line.
And to Ruth's point, I don't think that the discussion is we're not going to do this because obviously it has to be done. The question is, why was it not found earlier? Because it absolutely should have been found earlier. Two, we should have put more stock into the important things of the school, not the paint and the carpet and sort of stuff. First you start with the things that have to be done, and we can all agree, I think, that this has to be done. Now, we got to figure out how to get it done and the best way to do it. But like I said, we got 2 other schools. What are we going to do to prevent this from happening again? I guess we've already passed it for the high school, the current high school, but the middle school's still out there. I mean, and then I guess kind of, go ahead, I'm sorry.
So we don't have any plumbing scope in the existing high school, soon to be middle school. There is a significant amount of plumbing work in Felton. And so we can start that process with DLR now and make sure that we get those cameraed before they start their design on them, and look at all the tie-in points in that building.
Is there any way to recoup any money from DLR for not catching this, which should have been caught?
That would be a question that I think would have to be a legal question.
You would have to basically see if they have an errors and omissions clause in their contract.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You'd have to see if they have an errors and omissions clause.
Errors and
in their
omissions.
contract.
And they,
Okay.
I'm sure.
Okay. Ken,
basically, they're not accountable.
okay.
Most design firms do.
Okay. Ken, do you have anything?
I don't have anything to add. I think that, like Ruth said, there was a problem somewhere along the way, obviously, and I won't disagree with that, but it's got to be taken care of.
this also, this on its own project has, if I'm reading this right, it has a $150,000 contingency built into this?
So
Or is that already,
So that 150,000 is for patching of walls. A lot of the plumbing piping will need to get replaced up the wall. And so it's almost impossible to determine exactly how much patch and repair is going to be necessary. So that's basically an allowance to take care, we think $150,000 will take care of all of that. If any of that is not used, then that would be returned afterwards. So if it only costs $30,000, then we would return the other 120.
Well, Mr. President, we're not voting on this separately. It's part of the other change.
They're together right now.
Yeah.
They're together right now. Okay. I have one more comment or two, and then I'm done. But this is what came out before we voted for the bond. For $1,000, it should have said the sewer system's in disrepair and not got a 3 out of 5. Number two, I do not appreciate 90 days down the road finding out when I knew 70, 75 days ago. I do not appreciate that, because we should be informed.
I guess Ron, is there a way to get cameras down the drains for the current high school and the current middle school, even outside the bond, if we have to pay for it out of something else, to know what we're dealing with?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can remove toilets, and you can't run them anywhere there's a P-trap. That's your only limitation. So toilets, cleanouts, wall cleanouts, anything like that, you can get a camera down there.
Well, I think that it would behoove us to do that before we get into the bond stuff on the current high school and current middle school, to know where we're at, since we know the current high school got the worst grade out of any of the buildings. So what are we going to get into down the road, and at least know what we're
I
getting
think the grade that you're referring to was part of the HVAC issue that was taken care of.
No, this is plumbing separate. It's plumbing, they're all broken out separately.
So, Mr. President, you said 75 days ago you knew? None of the
I
rest
did.
of us did.
I'm just telling you, again,
You were president then. How
just
did
like
you bring it up?
Jamie, people are bringing it to me. In confidentiality, I am not going to talk about it. I'm just telling you, and numerous people. And I'm not telling you who they are, and it was a private conversation by numerous.
Just to clarify, we weren't withholding any information or trying to hide anything. We were just asked to look into an issue and then price it.
I understand that.
That's what we were trying to do.
But here's the problem, you're going to have to deal with it, would have been, and it's coming down the road for several board meetings we've had, and no idea.
What new information did you get between our last board member, our last meeting a week ago, and tonight? Why did we talk about last week?
We didn't have pricing finalized. We had just received Glassman's pricing that previous Thursday, and
On
all the rest of the
16th
pricing in there.
Was it the 16th of July or the beginning of July?
Beginning of July is when it was requested. The 16th of July is when I priced it.
Yep.
Alan, that's why we had the special board meeting, remember?
I understand. The 16th, we could have talked about last week.
Well,
Okay.
we talked about it, but they didn't have the information.
Okay, or let's move on, please.
Okay. The other change order is prime contract change order number 6 for Hayes High School at a total of $163,126. This is showing every update that we've given. Well, not every update. We took some off of there because you wouldn't be able to read it. But in the lower right-hand corner, you can see that the overall budget for the project did not change. Just above that number is your remaining unallocated owner contingency. So you still have that contingency amount in there, and that's what that change order would be pulled from. So after the execution of this change order, you would still have $186,327 in unallocated owner contingency.
180,000?
Yeah, $186,327.
186, okay. And do you feel that we're at the end of that road?
Yeah. I mean, we're 3.5 weeks away from turnover, so I hope so.
Well, I'm hoping we can find $1 million now for, there's 186, there was 300, but, okay. Thank you. Anybody have any questions about this one?
I guess, was it a new decision for the basketball goals? That seems like something that probably has been in the works for a while.
No, it's been probably a month that once they installed the basketball goals in the auxiliary gym, looked up and there were only 2 basketball goals. And so asked some questions, and they did not include that in the original design to have extra goals, which is just in our current secondary gym, Gym B, we have 6 goals right now. So they had to price it figure out the engineering of how to get it taken care of.
Gotcha. I guess, how are you guys going to plan on hanging those? Or are you going to have to drive on the new gym floor to hang the basketball goals?
Yes, yeah, so there's weight requirements and floor protection that's required. So there's a maximum of 4,000 pounds or 4,000 pound lift that you can put on there, and then there's also a PSI specific to the size of tires. But basically, we'll put a ram board down and then a double layer of 3/4 inch plywood, and then 2 lifts. We'll have 2 installers, and then it'll be chain hoisted up in the air and connected.
I guess I kind of see it as this should have been known, and it's kind of find it somewhat amusing that the last meeting before, there's no way we could get on these floors for a mural, but now we can get heavy equipment to raise up basketball goals, and the floor is safe in one situation, not the other. I think it's a little.
Well, are we these are going to go in before the school's open? I mean, will they be ready or sometime during the school year?
Yes.
We're hoping before basketball season, I would.
Yes. I would hope over Thanksgiving break is
Okay.
probably realistic.
And that's
That's okay, so if we don't put the basketball goals in, what do we have?
Yep. So
Yeah,
you
more
would
planning.
still have 6 overhead courts, cross courts in your main gym, and
Right.
then 1 overhead court in your aux gym, and then mobile basketball goals as well for your
I
main
understand.
gym.
Coaching basketball, you'd like to have as many goals for free throw shooting at practice when it's divide out the team and blah, blah. Anyway, all right. Anybody else? Thank you very much. Appreciate you coming. I'd entertain a motion.
I move that we separate the two from the Laughlin bid to the current high school bid.
We can't do that, can we, because of the units?
I think, and I'll ask Mr. Jeter, if the motion would fail, can we then come back and split them, or can we split them before?
You can split them. They're listed on the agenda as 2 separate items.
Okay. They can be separated. Thank you, Mr. Jeter. Okay, Dr. Yarmer?
So I'd move to separate the two change orders between the new Hayes High School and the Laughlin.
Okay.
Mr. President, do we have to separate them because they're listed? Can we just vote one and then vote on the next?
That's why we're going to separate them, I would assume. We're going to vote them separate, right?
So we don't need to vote on separating them, I don't think. Maybe we just vote on one and vote on.
Oh, I guess I didn't read the motion.
That would be, I would assume we'd vote on that to separate them.
As you recall, the board policies have not adopted Robert's Rules of Order.
I understand.
So that's one of the functions that the board president.
Wonderful. Okay. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
As opposed to me.
Okay, we're gonna vote. We will vote first if we're going to separate them, then we'll vote. If they are voted in the positive to separate, then we will vote on them separate. If it fails, we will vote on it as a grouped item. Okay, it has been moved. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay. Discussion.
I don't understand what the motion was.
Okay, he's separating the Hayes High.
We're separating.
Yes.
That's the motion.
Yes.
Okay.
The motion that I have is motion to separate the change orders, vote on one at a time.
That's correct.
Each change order or
No,
the 2 packages?
The 2 packages.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Dr. Yarmer made the motion. Is there a second?
Alan, second.
Alan has seconded. Any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor of separating the 2 packages, vote yes. Yes. Those opposed, vote no.
No. I actually had abstained. I mean to say no.
Okay, passes 4-1. So we will vote on them individually. Jess, are you going to need time to make it happen? Okay. Let's do the Hayes High School first, since it's the first one.
Mr. President, I do have a question.
Yes.
Is Jamie conflicted only out of the 1 change order?
Let me ask her. I'll go ask her.
Okay.
Thank you.
She's not, so she can come in.
Okay, let me ask her. I'll go ask her.
Good point.
Is the Hayes Highway 006? What's the Laughlin?
007
Okay.
or 007.
Okay, who made the motion for the Hayes High change order?
I will.
Yeah, they haven't been, I don't think they've been made.
Move to approve PCCO number 006.
Okay, thank you. Second? We have a second. Thank you, it's been moved and seconded.
And I just want to make sure this is for the new high school, correct? We're voting
This is for the basketball.
This is the basketball goals.
And everything else.
Basketball, please,
It's not just basketball.
yes. Do not make that the emphasis.
Yeah.
It's for the improvements of the high school.
If I could clarify
Go
a
ahead.
couple things real quick. There are a couple of items on here that are life safety and have to be completed per the local AHJ. So that would be the elevator cell dialers and the radio frequency filter. Both of those are life safety items that have to be completed.
I read, that's what I read too.
What are the blinds and shades? Is that like we're changing what was going to be in there, or is this we're putting blinds where there was not supposed to be any blinds?
So there's a couple of added blinds in certain locations, and then it's also changing how those are mounted around Area C, the radius windows, what that detail looks like, and then a couple of other small RFI changes.
Thank you again, Dylan. Okay,
Confirming, this is the high school, not a Laughlin.
so
This one's fine.
this,
One's fine.
yes,
Yes, this one's fine.
this is, okay?
Mr. Byron, do I say something?
You may if it's short.
Yeah.
All right, go.
I'll make it. My name is Sean Dryling. I'm a PE teacher, an adaptive PE teacher at the high school and both the middle school. And I serve as the head boys basketball coach. Coach Melvin serves as the women's basketball coach. And I know I speak for Coach Melvin when I say that we are very, we take tremendous pride in representing this community and this high school. And on that note, with the basketball goals, as you mentioned, separating the guys out and the girls out into free throw shooting, it's more of a necessity than it is a desire. This is something that we have to have. We do a great job of working together, splitting up our practices, changing our practice times to make it work so that we can get the most amount of shots up during our seasons. And now we're adding these beautiful new gyms and doubling our space, and we're actually going from 12 goals to 10 goals unless we add these goals in with it. So like I said, it would be a great thing if we could add these goals and get up to 14 and then not have to switch gyms, not have to work about practice times and everything like that. So I just wanted to mention that before you guys voted.
It's a gym and needs basketball goals.
What's that?
It's a gym and needs basketball goals.
Yeah, and it's a beautiful gym too.
Yep.
Mr. Dryling, when did you first notice that these goals weren't there, like that it was going to be something that we'd have to add on as an afterthought rather than part of the original plans?
Well, I feel like it was part of the original plans when we were going through all the drawings back, I don't know, I can't even remember how long ago, the first time we ever saw anything. The courts are even marked with a thin line so that you could play sideways in the gyms on these goals that we're talking about. So the courts are marked and then I guess we're shooting at the wall currently. When we had gone through tours, personally, I had noticed that they weren't there, but I just thought they weren't up yet. And then Coach Melvin pointed out that he doesn't think they're up, and then we asked a couple of the Nabholz people, and then talked to Mr. Wilson and tried to figure out what was going on, and that's why this change order came about.
About when do you have the conversation as far as the goals weren't there?
Probably about a month ago, maybe 6 weeks ago, we reached out to Mr. Wilson.
That's reasonable.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Okay?
Yeah, Mr. President, I would just like to reiterate that Hayes High School vote that we're voting on is for the entire thing, not just the basketball court, so the public knows.
That's correct.
This is for
Yep.
elevators and security features that they stated, so the public doesn't get confused.
I understand.
We're just voting on basketball.
And that's what Megan read when she made the motion, I would assume?
Yeah,
Okay,
the whole
all right.
thing.
Seeing we're ready to vote, all those in favor of the contingency order for the high school, vote yes.
Wait, mine does not say that. Mine says high school and O'Loughlin.
The motion reads, motion to approve the Hayes High change order PCO 006.
It's down at the bottom.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, let's vote. All those in favor vote yes. Yes. All those opposed, no. Passes 7-0. Thank you. Entertain a motion for PCCO 007.
I make the motion that we approve PCCO 007 as presented.
Okay. It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion?
I would propose that we table it and put the project out to bid, see if we can get a better number, and go from there.
Okay. You're making a motion to table the PCCO 007, table it for bids. Is that correct?
For bids.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any more discussion? Jess, can you make that one happen?
Motion to table PCO 007 to allow for bidding.
That's correct. Okay. The motion is up. All those in favor of tabling the motion, vote yes. 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 All those in favor, vote no.
No.
3-3. Motion will fail. All right, that's the motion to approve PCCO 007. Is there a motion? There was a motion, wasn't there, a second?
There was a motion.
All right. So we're, okay, I'm waiting for you, Jess, I'm sorry.
It's motion to approve O'Loughlin's PCO
Yes, ma'am.
07 as presented.
Correct, ma'am.
By Ken, seconded by Megan.
Correct, ma'am. That's too much parliamentary procedure. Okay, any more discussion before we shall vote? Seeing none, all those in favor vote yes. Yes. All those opposed vote no.
No.
Passes 4-2. Thank you. Mr. Carleen or Mrs. Dinkle, thank you very much. Welcome back.
I'll get my steps in today.
If you would be so kind, would you make a motion to adjourn?
I so move to adjourn, please.
Okay. Second? All those in favor of adjournment, vote yes.
Yes.
Yes. All those opposed, no. Yes. 6-1? Okay. Meeting's adjourned.
I have a quick question. If you knew about these problems with O'Loughlin weeks ago, why didn't you bring that to the board as the president of the board?
Because I told him I would not. Okay. My word,